workers wouldn't go down without a fight.
Fight inside a Port Huron gas station convenience store.
2 cashiers under siege until they fight back and the criminals run away.
Do you want to see crooks get a sweet dose of karma?
The robbers stormed into the business, smashed the glass, and then just began grabbing everything they could.
Well, you are about to.
Bear spray to drive off 3 armed robbery suspects.
Come on, let's dig in. Number 1, the handy flamethrower. This worker didn't get scared when he saw 2 bandits armed with rifles barging inside his store. Instead, he picked up a fly spray and a lighter and created his flamethrower. The blazing flames made one of the robbers stumble and sent the other out the door.
A can of fly spray and a lighter, he sent flames soaring, blasting both bandits.
But then the robbers found a moment to disarm the owner. They aimed the rifle at his head, forcing him to duck. As the robbers went around to explore, the owner found his chance to flee. He hopped over the counter and bolted the scene. Number 2, robbers got robbed. This crook with a nunchuck thought he looked pretty tough. That changed in a few seconds when the man shoved him into the car. Another man popped up into the scene and went straight for the same crook. That's when the tough guy's partner jumped and came to his friend's rescue, freeing him from the big guy. The duo chased the crooks away, who got so scared that they left their bike behind. Number 3, the brave tackle. This homeowner was running after 2 thieves who had raided his house, but they managed to get behind the wheel and drive away. Then he noticed another robber leaving his house. He leapt at the crook and threw him to the ground.
A woman behind the wheel. As they drove off, the homeowner noticed another suspect coming out from behind his house.
The duo that left came back to save him. The homeowner tried to wrestle the woman, but he lost in the unfair battle. The crooks fled, but they didn't get far. They were then caught by the police. Number 4, clerks get payback. A crook sneaked behind the store owner and grabbed him into a chokehold. The other crooks raided the store, and one of them started emptying the cash register. The owner somehow managed to wiggle out of the firm hold and started wrestling the crook.
In a sleeper chokehold, the worker, fearing for his life, tries to fight back. Meanwhile, another suspect empties the register.
The other thieves ran, leaving their friend behind. Just then, another worker popped up and helped the owner pin the crook to the ground. They held him there until the cops arrived to arrest him. Number 5, the tiring battle. A masked man walked into a store and placed his bag on the counter. He demanded money, but the owner politely denied his request. So, the crook jumped on the counter to snatch the cash himself. That's when the owner jumped into action and grabbed his arm.
The suspect went for the money anyways. That's when Muhammad jumped into action.
The two wrestled for a minute and a half, with the crook losing the battle. He still tried to grab a few dollar bills from the cash register. The owner had enough by then. He grabbed his head and threw him out of the store. Another customer helped him keep the crook pinned to the ground until the cops arrived at the scene. Number 6. The knife-wielding robber. This guy stormed the store and hopped straight up on the counter. While the store owner sat meekly on his chair, he tried to intimidate him with his knife. He was seen brandishing his knife, and that's when the owner turned the tables on him, pulling out a much bigger knife.
Doesn't want us to reveal who he is, but he had no problem facing down his masked Sunday morning attacker.
The two brawled for a few good minutes, each trying to get a hit at the other. The crook pushed the shelf in between to scare away the owner, but it didn't work. The owner was all in on the sword fight. When he saw that the owner wasn't ready to back down, the crook bolted out the door. Number 7. The merciless bat swings. Two crooks walked inside the store, one of them armed with a bat. He slammed his bat at the cash register and then started attacking the two clerks behind the counter. He swung his bat to keep them at bay while his partner hopped over the counter.
Man slams a baseball bat against the cash register and then goes behind the counter and...
The other clerk pushed the stupid thief off the counter and on the ground. The other crook was battling the clerk. The tables soon turned when the clerk managed to get the bat from the crazy guy. He wasn't scared of using it either and sent the two crooks running out the exit. Number 8. Old Lady and the Handbag. A bunch of crooks were spotted near a store trying to get inside. Suddenly, an old grandma came running towards them and started smacking them with her handbag. The crooks got all startled and ditched their plan to rob when the old lady wouldn't budge. They were seen fleeing away, empty-handed. Number 9. The wrong store to rob. A crook walked into a store and started demanding money. The manager caught the act on camera and rushed to his clerk's aid.
TV monitors, Mon comes out of his office, shows the suspect the door, and is sucker punched.
He showed the crook the door and told him to leave. Before he went out, the thief threw a punch at the manager. He had no clue that was about to come back and bite him. The man launched himself onto the crook, kicking him and throwing him to the ground. The robber just lay there in the pool of regret. Number 10. The bong attack. A bunch of crooks raided the store, filling it with bear spray, but the store owner had a weapon handy. He pulled out his bong, and that started what was the most peaceful battle. Both parties pushed their weapons in each other's faces, trying to get the other to pull back. The bear spray had emptied too. The store owner was probably thinking, "Are we going to do this?" When he almost got hit by the plastic bin, he launched at them again, sending them running out of the store. Number 11. The brave fight. This woman was ambushed by a crook with cloth wrapped around his head. He kept demanding money, and the woman kept saying no.
On camera last Saturday, Meena Patel working the counter, when police say this man...
Soon, the verbal battle turned physical, and the duo fought for a few good seconds. The woman tugged at the crook's cloth, exposing his identity to the camera. The crook managed to run, but the neighbors had heard the scuffle inside. They chased him down and handed him to the cops. Number 12. Sent back running. This guy just casually walked into a store and started rummaging through the shelves. It was when the store owner saw the stick in his hands that he figured out he wasn't just a random customer. The owner launched himself at the crook and shoved him multiple times. Somehow, the owner dropped to the floor, but he grabbed the crook's stick while falling, pulling it to himself. The crook tried to wrestle away the stick, but knew it was in vain. He raced out the exit. Number 13. The sweet boxing match. The store owner turned his back to show something to the supposed customer. As soon as he did that, the guy lunged at the shelf from behind. The store owner grabbed the crook and pushed him off the counter. The two got into a ferocious boxing match, throwing angry punches at each other. The crook didn't give up. He tried smashing the glass with his bare hands and got smacked by the owner instead. He leaped again at the shelf and grabbed a couple of jewels. He then scurried away in a hurry. Number 14. Battle Royale. A bunch of crooks raided the store with hammers and plastic bins in their hands. The store owner wasted no time in grabbing her stick and using it on them.
To open a display case, at least 4 other masked men burst in.
A battle went on between the lady and the 6 crooks. One of the crooks tried to hit the woman with his plastic bin, but it didn't work. They were left fighting off the lady's stick and eventually ran with far less than they came for. Number 15. The power duo. 2 men walked into a store with a bag. Suddenly, one of them pulls out a gun and aims it at the store owner. The man is so unfazed by the gun that the robber has to jump over the counter to prove his point. Little did he know he was falling into his trap. The duo charged at the robber, beating him and dragging him down to the floor. His buddy came up to save him, but only to get smacked. So, he fled the scene. The other thug tried to roll free from the duo's grasp and finally made it to the door. His buddy came again to smack at the duo, leaving a small gap for the crook to flee. He managed to get away, but the duo tore his shirt apart. Number 16. Sprayed with revenge. A group of thugs raided the store and started filling up their bags. The store owner just stood at the counter and took his sweet time setting up his weapon.
Says he felt he just had to take a stand on Saturday and fight back.
A few seconds later, the owner bombarded the crooks with bear spray, sending them scrambling away in panic. The poor crooks stood no chance against the owner and were seen scurrying out in a hurry towards the exit. Number 17. Elderly couple fights back. A crook sneaked into the courtyard and tied the old man to a pole. Just then, his wife walked out the door and another crook slipped out of the bushes. The woman threw slippers at them while the old man got enough time to slip out of the cloth wrapped around his neck. The duo then charged at the crooks with chairs and slippers, sending them scrambling away in panic. Number 18. The loud siren. This store owner was sitting peacefully when a thief walked in and stole a sanitizer off the shelf. The woman launched at him with an air horn and chased him out the door. The thief threw the sanitizer back and fled. Number 19. The bizarre battle. A smash and grab was underway when the owner decided to do something about it. He pulled out a bat from the top shelf and started attacking the robbers.
Business owner rushes over with a sandwich board trying to help stop the attack.
He was joined in by his friends, a man with an advertisement board and another armed with a chair. The trio lunged at the crooks, trying to smack them. The crooks had bear spray and hammers, and they weren't shy about using them. The power trio were recorded still attacking the crooks and managed to send them out the exit. Number 20. The long tussle. These robbers were spotted lurking near the counter. One of the crooks managed to slip over to the counter and towards the cash register. The clerk was quick and grabbed the crook's gun in one power move. She held it over him, but got shoved by the crook. The two battled for a couple of minutes. First, the crook gave up his gun, and then the cash register. Nothing was going past this superhero clerk. Number 21. The bat swing. This man with a mask and a knife thought he looked pretty scary, but not to the store owner. As he launched himself at the cash register, the store owner grabbed his bat and swung it at him. The dumb robber had almost fled, but then came back when he remembered that he had a knife in his hands too. But when he saw the bat swinging another time, he bolted the scene. Number 22. The sneaky shoplifter. This woman stole fake eyelashes and lash glue from the store. The owner demanded that she pay, but the woman kept repeating for what. So the owner grabbed her arm and the crook responded by throwing a punch at his face.
Woman to try and get the items.
That's when things escalated. The owner punched back while the crook threatened him that she'd fire if he hit her more. The owner took that as an invitation and hit her again. He then pinned her to the ground and held her there until the cops came to take her away. Number 23. The weary battle. This crook smashed the glass and hopped inside the store. He then took a worker hostage and told him to walk back to the safe. Despite the worker telling the crook that he wasn't authorized to open it, the crook wouldn't budge and kept his gun held up.
Surveillance video. It shows the suspect behind Blair with a gun as they head into an office.
So, the worker launched at the crook and took the mask off his face. The battle went on for 3 minutes, with the worker throwing punches, sticking his thumb into the eye, and shoving him. The crook got so tired of the fight that he waved the white flag. The worker told him to leave, and he fled the scene. Hours later, The cops caught up to him and arrested him. Number 24, trapped inside. This crook was spotted by the owner stealing clothes, so he sneaked out the exit and closed the door behind him. The robber was left panicking inside. He tried to prop open the door and even tried smashing the glass, but nothing worked. So he went to the back and tried to play with the back door. Luckily, that didn't move an inch either. He was left scrambling with panic inside until the cops came and arrested him. Number 25, the gutsy mama bear. This crook wanted to sweep the cash register clean right to the last dime. Despite the owner handing him every last dollar bill, he wasn't satisfied. So he threatened the woman that he would go after her son. The woman then had enough.
He led the mother of three to the front register, shouting orders along the way.
She grabbed the fire extinguisher out of the closet and smacked the crook in the head. The crook fell, and the people kept him there until the cops arrived at the scene. Number 26, the barrier of defense. A family was pulling out their car from the driveway when a couple of crooks ambushed them. The mother with a baby in her hands pushed the door to close while the dogs protected her. The crooks responded by throwing rocks at them, making them scurry away. They barged inside the house only to be smacked by the father, who chased them out the exit. The brave woman again pushed the gate and sent the thieves running. Number 27, the fight back. This girl was walking back to her house when a masked man attacked her. He went straight to her phone, but the woman refused to give it up. Instead, she turned the tables on him and went after his gun.
His phone, and that's when she fights back, trying to grab his weapon.
I'm able to...
She pulled out the magazine and threw it in the bushes behind her. Then she ran while the dumb crook looked for his magazine. He was later spotted fleeing away in a getaway car. Number 28, carjackers, V's an old man. A duo pulled up near this car and tried to get the old man to give up his car, but he wasn't willing to do that. He launched at the two knife-wielding crooks with his strong kicks and managed to keep them at bay. The crooks tried to fight with the old man, but decided it was best to flee. Number 29, the gutsy pharmacist. 3 women walked into a store and were about to run out back in seconds. Distracting the manager with futile talk, the crooks pulled out a spray and a gun to ambush him.
He goes for their gun, grabbing it out of the crook's hands.
The manager didn't move an inch and went straight for the gun. He managed to wrestle it away from the crook, sending them running out the exit. Number 30, old man fights motorcyclists. A group of crooks on motorcycles came down to rob a store, but were met with this gutsy man. He attacked the duo on the motorcycles, trying to throw them off. Then, he went after the crooks who went inside, smacking a few punches at them. The crooks got away, but they left 2 behind. The old man wasted no energy in attacking them, even though they had weapons handy. He chased them off, saving the store from the robbery. Number 31, tables turned. This guy didn't even have to show his gun, and the store owner had already pulled out his rifle. The robber took one look at the scary gun and dropped to the floor with his hands up in the air.
With the crook now down on the ground, Mohammed Sahel asked him to promise never to rob anyone again. And
the store owner threw $40 and a loaf of bread towards him. The robber picked it up and vanished as soon as the owner turned his back to him. Number 32, the strangest weapon. Who thought calculators could be used as a defense? These robbers surely didn't think that either when the store clerk started attacking them with calculators and cans. The thieves bolted, but not without stealing a few goods. Number 33, the woman power. A couple of crooks had walked inside the store and were threatening the woman behind the counter. The woman's mother was in the back aisle when she heard the scuffle. She came to her daughter's rescue and pelted a few mangoes in the crook's direction. The crook got all startled while his partner stared back at them dumbly. The crooks fled, but tried to smack the 80-year-old woman on their way out. The cops caught up to the crooks a few miles down the road. Number 34. The cans of defense. A robber had invaded the store through the drive-through counter window. While everybody ran, the store owner stayed put.
But finally decided it was too dangerous and left to call police.
He launched at the robbers with a stack of cans and threw it at them as hard as he could. Seconds later, he decided that it wasn't worth it, so he slipped out of the door and went to call the cops. Number 35. The angry grandmother. A pair of crooks raided the counter to snatch and grab money, but the grandmother was one step ahead. She brought her loyal broom to the scene and sent the crooks scurrying away in panic. The broom never disappoints. Number 36. The brave customers. This couple of crooks walked into a pub in the wee hours of the night to steal. Little did they know that the whole pub would join hands against the crooks. The robber that had sneaked inside the counter fell back in, trying to fight away the customers. They were seen fleeing the exit within seconds. Number 37. The brave tackle. An armed thief walked into a store and grabbed a customer hostage. His friend went over to the counter to steal. The owner let him, fearing the life of the customer. When the crook dropped the customer, the owner was all ready to fight back. He grabbed a stick and kept the two crooks at bay single-handedly. He was smacking left and right and didn't sit back even when the crook threw a chair at him. Seeing the man's gutsy spirit, the crooks fled the scene. Number 38. Shopkeeper and his shoe. Two masked men walked into the store when they were met by this brave shopkeeper. He pulled out his shoe and tried to threaten them. It didn't work, and the robber tried to attack him. But that didn't scare away the shopkeeper. He picked something else and shoved his weapons in their faces, hoping that they would work in keeping them at bay. His luck was by his side, and the robbers fled, seeing that the shopkeeper had no plans of backing down. Number 39. Battle of the Wooden Weapons. A bandit rushed into a store, almost tripping over a child. He threatened the store owner with his baton, trying to get him to comply. But the store owner paid no heed to him and grabbed his weapon, a wooden board.
And telling me to give me your money.
Happening so quickly, he honestly thought it was a joke.
The two fought at the counter furiously, each trying to get a good smack at the other. The robber smashed the glass to scare the owner, but he wasn't going to back down. The owner ran over to the crook to smack him, sending him fleeing out the exit. Number 40. The rough confrontation. This guy was spotted stealing booze on the CCTV camera. The store owner confronted him and demanded that he give the bottles back, but the shoplifter tried to sweep it under the rug.
But owner George Zubigaray said not so fast.
The owner wasted no time in charging him with a hard electric cable wire. As you can see, it slaps hard. He smacked the stick on the crook's arm, who was still denying the crime. Then suddenly, the crook fled the store yelling sorry. Luckily, the cops caught up to him and arrested him. Number 41. The trio of rescuers. This guy walked into the lobby and went straight to the counter, pretending to ask about a room. Suddenly, he pulled out a gun and started demanding money.
However, during this time, the lift door opened and who should walk out?
Just then, the elevator popped open and two martial arts experts walked out. Together, the three of them tackled the guy on the floor until security arrived and picked the crook up. Number 42. One Peek. This 90-year store owner was busy doing some work when a masked man entered the store. He tried to threaten the old man, but he was about to come back and bite him.
The 90-year-old owner, George Hicks, did more than just say no. He grabbed a gun himself right out of his pocket.
The old man only put his hand on the gun in his pocket and gave him a sly glance. The crook didn't need to be told twice and fled the scene. Number 43, Epic Battle. Two masked men walked into the store and went straight for the counter. While they tried to terrorize the woman, her husband came to her rescue with a wooden stick. He whooped them so badly that one of them left the first chance he got.
Nicholas starts swinging. One would-be thief runs away, but
the other one wasn't that lucky. He was stuck trying to fight off the old man while his wife locked them all in. The old man even lost his stick, but that didn't stop his fighting spirit. He picked up a shelf and started beating the crook repeatedly. Seconds later, neighbors raided the store and helped the old man pin the thief down. Number 44, the sneaky worker. This lady was ambushed by an armed robber in her store. Instead of getting scared, she tried to distract him while she sneakily hit the panic button.
You need to stop. Calm down. Let me open the door.
After a small scuffle, the man did manage to get away with the cash register. But the woman chased him down to note his car's license plate. She reported it to the cops, and within hours, he was arrested. Number 45, 1vs3. Three robbers rushed into a store with guns in their hands. They threw the customer away and ambushed the lady at the counter. Seconds later, a male worker jumped in on the fiasco and threw something at the robber.
A second and third man are concentrating on the female store clerk when suddenly the first robber...
All of the crooks were startled. They all got panicky when the man made his way over the counter. The worker had a crazy aura, and that was enough to send the crooks running out the door. That's all, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos. Thanks for watching and goodbye.